Now, going back to the request of Ibrahim alayhi salam, does that mean that there is logic provided for every ruling in the Sharia, for every story, for every incident? Can we find a logical explanation? No, absolutely not. You use your aql in Islam, you use your intellect to arrive at the integrity of the naql, to arrive at the integrity of the text. So I know anything that comes from Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is absolute truth, even if my logic doesn't agree with it. However, if I find the proof of it, and that's the beauty of studying and the beauty of seeking knowledge, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء, those who have a greater awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those who are learned. Why? Because by studying the proofs and by doing so, that puts me at ease with everything that comes after that. And so you find Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took his night journey, the journey of al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. And obviously the Prophet ﷺ, when he wakes up and he tells the people that he was taken from Mecca to Jerusalem through the heavens, Abu Jahl mocked the Prophet ﷺ and he called the people and he said, can you repeat what you just said in front of the people? And even some of the Muslims were shaken by that. How can the Prophet ﷺ, how can a man be taken from Mecca to Jerusalem to the heavens and back all in one night? So a man comes to Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu and he says, do you hear what Muhammad ﷺ said? And Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he responds by saying, if he said it, فَقَدْ صَدَقْ, then he's telling the truth. If he said it, then he's telling the truth. And Abu Bakr says, look, I believe him when he says that something happens to him that's far greater than that. You know, what's greater than him going from Mecca to Jerusalem and to the heavens in one night is that revelation comes to him from the Lord of the heavens. Revelation descends upon him from above the heavens all the way to his heart, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I believe him with something far greater than that. Why wouldn't I believe him when he tells me that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took him from Mecca to Jerusalem to the heavens and back in one night? And now Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, what he's showing us here, Abu Bakr did not say, well, I'm going to need to see proof of what the Prophet ﷺ saw on the way. You know, if the Prophet ﷺ can describe some things between Mecca and Jerusalem, then maybe I'll be convinced. No, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, look, I know that this man is a prophet of Allah. I know that this man receives revelation sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I believe him with whatever he says. Now, does that mean when the Prophet ﷺ accurately describes the things that he's seen between Mecca and Jerusalem, to the extent that he will tell you sallallahu alaihi wasallam about a people and where their water was, that were, you know, on the way from Mecca to Jerusalem, that no one would have known unless they were there, because they didn't have text messages back then. Does that not increase the faith of a person when the Prophet ﷺ does that, when the Prophet ﷺ accurately explains these things? Of course it does. Of course it does. But I don't need that to believe in it in the first place. But it will increase my iman, and that's what Ibrahim alayhi salam was asking. So it takes us to the next step. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. That we will show them our signs in the universe and even within themselves, right? In the farthest horizons, all the way to themselves. حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. Until it shows to them, until it's made clear to them that it is the truth, that this is the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is telling us, look, I'm giving you all of these signs, all of these proofs in the deep horizons and even within the creation of yourself, that there's no way that a being like you could exist without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Until it is made clear to you that this is the truth. Once you have found that truth, there's the pursuit of truth and then there's the pursuit of meaning. And most people spend their lives trying to find the truth, and so they never even get to the meaning and the purpose of life and what are we supposed to be doing here and so on and so forth. As believers, as Muslims, we've already arrived at the truth. We already know that this is the truth. So now the entire journey of life becomes finding the meaning. And even atheists, you know, I always say this, that when you're debating with an atheist or you're speaking to an atheist, by the end of the conversation, they'll be an agnostic, right? They'll start off by saying there is no God, but then when you put forth all the proofs, they'll say, well, there might be a God, or I can see how there would be some divine energy or some God, but you know, I don't think that there is any religion or any guidance, or you know, we're just left to be and we're not sure and so on and so forth. So could all of this, you know, the answer to that would simply be, could all of this simply be without meaning? Do you really think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created that? If there is a God, if you're convinced that there is some kind of divine energy and something that brought us here, because it clearly is, Would you really say that all of this is for nothing? That there's no meaning to it, that there's no purpose to it whatsoever? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that we did not create anything without purpose. Allah didn't create anything in abath. Everything was created for meaning and purpose. And so for the believer, the journey now becomes a journey